Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another live edition of Kiwanis Connects, back at our regularly scheduled time. Do not adjust your clocks. It is 9 a.m. Pacific time. John Brummer, yes, we are on at 9 a.m. today, Friday, not Thursday at 12 p.m. or anything like that. We are live. Happy to see everybody. Hopefully by this point, the tryptophan from last week has totally gotten out of your system. If not, we'll help here because this show is exciting. Joining me, as you see, to my left, look at that. I even did it right the first time. In the holiday red, of course, the co-host, the main person behind the show. I'm just driving the boat. I guess I got to call you Governor Doc Val now. I mean, immediate past and all that. That's way too much to say.
What's up, I know. And IP sounds like an immediate prisoner. So,
yeah. And also joining us today, making her first appearance of the year on Kiwanis Connects, the current governor of California, Nevada, Hawaii, District of Kiwanis International. She is the governor, Carol Farris. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning, everybody.
So happy to have you here. So happy to have you. I have goosebumps that I got the first official introduction. So, John Brummer says, thanks for the shout out. Love you, John. Love you, everybody. Hey, just remember, if you're watching us, thank you for watching us on Facebook or, of course, on YouTube. Now, if you're going to go to the YouTube channel on WWDBTV, please click the live tab that you see at the top there, because if you don't hit the live on YouTube, you're not going to see us. If you're driving around town, download WWDBTV to your Android. If you're driving around with an iPhone, WWDBTV LV will get you the app for WWDBTV. And in 72 hours, check out the WWDBTV channel on Roku. Lost my voice, because then this show, I'm telling you, I'll find it soon. On this show and all the other shows, the many vast, humongous list of shows you can also check out. And, of course, join us on the phone. Let's not be lazy today, folks. Call in with your questions for anybody on the panel, 702-992-3207. And I know it's better than giving my phone number because I don't want my cell phone ringing in the middle of a show. Anyway, how y'all doing since we last met? Everybody have a good Thanksgiving. Tell us what's been going on, ladies.
Mine was fabulous. I got to tell you, I actually got to play grandma, and it was fantastic. My little Evan is a little over 2 years old, and he is so fast. It takes two of us to keep up with him. And I saw a great post from Carol. So, Carol, how was your Thanksgiving?
Funny you should ask. I had a house full. I had 14 people and no running water. So if anybody's ever tried to do Thanksgiving without running water, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, especially with 14 people. So
sounds like
it was good.
Greenfield.
I'm trying to come up with a joke about running water, about how to stop it or something, but I can't come up with one that's applicable.
Yeah, we would hurt both of our feelings.
The food was great, though. I can't complain about the food, but yeah. The water.
So what did you do without water for all these people?
We bought lots of gallons of bottled water, and that is, we were kind of roughing it. It was almost an adventure, almost.
Didn't you say you're in a farmhouse or something?
I live on a dairy, a working dairy, and they were trying to get it ready for cows to come in this weekend, and they were doing inspections and found a little leak. So they turned the water off on Tuesday and fixed it, and the whole well blew on Thursday. So
my goodness. Wow.
Hey, it happens. And then the owner said, does it though? And I said, no, it doesn't ever.
John Brummer is currently watching us on the YouTube channel, and I'm seeing his post come through. So his response when I asked about how you get through it was simply how dry I am. That's from John Brummer. John?
Yeah, pretty much. Don't drink anything.
Exactly. So I'm going to listen. I know we have our list. Can you give everybody, because we have people from all over the world watching, not just within our district. Carol, can you give us like the 2-cent tour for everybody? Your background, your bio, how you got into Kiwanis. Just give everybody a little bit of who you are prior to being governor.
Sure. So I was born in Virginia, and after 16 years in the military, our family moved over here. So I was 35 years old before I discovered another state. I moved to San Diego, which is fabulous. I recommend everybody live in San Diego at least a few years of their lives. But then we retired and we moved to the fabulous town of Hanford, where the only thing you have is cameras and ice cream. There is famous ice cream here. How did I come to Kiwanis? Actually, I was an introvert, couldn't really get out with people. So when I moved to a small town, I realized my children would hate it. And I couldn't afford that. You know, when you move somewhere, you want your children to assimilate. And I realized I would have to break out of my shell. So I started volunteering with a grassroots service organization. And the director took me to Kiwanis and left me. And I'm still here. And that's the 50-cent tour.
I love
when I met you, it was just like I could never have guessed that you would be an introvert. So
Oh God, yes.
that's
Still
pretty
am, but still am.
yeah, coming out of your shell a little bit, in this position is a good thing. But let me tell you, for those who got to see you when you were inducted on stage, as I was proud to be there to witness your induction, you were very comfortable. I want everybody to know who's watching. Don't let her fool you, folks. She was very comfortable.
I can play the part when I have to.
Val, go ahead.
I think we all should.
There you go. Val, let's kick things off if you would.
All right. So, Carol, one of the things is that, as I've gotten to know you a whole lot better, I've been so excited about some of the commonalities that you and I share. And one of those major ones is that you sparkle when you're around students. And so I've seen a lot of pictures. So give us a couple of highlights of your beginning of your governor year. What's been the best part?
Wow. Oh my gosh. Everything, literally everything. Isn't being with the students fabulous? For one, the accountability you have to have with them is incredible. It makes you a better leader just being with them. I have to say some of the highlights were absolutely the fall rallies where I drove from Santa Ana to Vallejo. I left Santa Ana at 9:30. Remember, we were at an event. I left at 9:30 on a Friday night and drove straight through and got to my hotel at 4:15 Saturday morning, just long enough to take a power nap and then go to the park because they're worth it. They need us. They inspire me. They energize me, obviously, because I stayed awake the whole day. But just watching their energy and just being able to stand in front of them and honor them is got to be the high point of anybody's year. Anytime that we can prop them up, that's what it's all about.
Oh, absolutely. And everybody kept saying to me, I was crazy. I had my little on the road spiel about every time I was going somewhere. And so I'm glad that you've joined, it's just like a fraternity or sorority that you've joined by being a governor and having that experience of knowing you've got to do it, right?
You got to. There is no alternative. It's not optional. You just do what you need to do. And for me, anything with the students, that's what I need to do. I mean, anything with Kiwanis as well, but the students have always been my priority.
Oh, I'm so in agreement. And one of the things that I saw you just do breakout was when you were on stage, and it looked like you actually were doing some cheers. So, are you in the cheering mood? Did you do cheers?
Well, it's funny.
Fall rally.
It's funny. Bon, who is our contact at Fall Rally South, was trying to get the kids students energized, and he said, "Carol, come out on stage." So we led them in their favorite cheer, and they all started screaming. It was just, but yes, I've been known to do a cheer or two because I won't do anything I won't expect my students to do anything that I'm not willing to do as well, including look crazy. Well, then,
You made a comment in there that I want to kind of just circle back around to. It's easy to talk publicly about something that you have a passion for from here, not here, but here.
Yeah.
And you don't need notes. You don't need a script. You just know what needs to be done and what needs to be said. And I experienced that earlier this year. I was one of the keynote speakers
I
for
know.
the Nevada South. And to stand up, first of all, I felt like a Vita because I was on the second level overlooking everybody.
Isn't that a great place?
And it's just such a good feeling, the energy of 1,000, 1,500 kids, whatever was there. And so you're right. That energy is so easy to draw from. I've always said over the years, if we could just bottle some of that energy up,
Right.
and just have like a Kiwanis ferry go around and sprinkle it on everybody, man, not that we're not doing great work, but just that energy would just be phenomenal to be able to share into. Good morning, Douglas.
And,
So I
and
love
you
it.
know, one of the things that I think is so important is for our listening audience and to actually understand what you're talking about, Aaron, and what Carol is talking about, Governor Carol's talking about, is in Las Vegas, you had 1,800 kiddos or students. I shouldn't call them kiddos because they're not. They're dynamic. 1,800 students running their own day conference on a Saturday. And I'm not sure if you've been to an event with 1,800 people or with Carol going to Fall Rally South and having almost 5,000 students cheering and yelling and taking over the park. I mean, just amazing. And so it's palpable. You actually feel the energy. Yeah. And so, Carol, how many key clubbers do we have, or key ones do we have out there right now?
Well, I like to look at it this way. I try to lump them all together. Key Club is roughly 34,000 currently. Kiwanis is probably another couple of thousand. Circle K, a couple of thousand. Action Club, about 1,000. There's also Builders Club and K Kids. I don't have numbers on that. Mm-hmm. And those are formidable numbers. Those are amazing numbers. Our Key Club is the largest group in Kiwanis International, period, by far. The problem is, okay, I don't like the word problem. We'll say the issue is
obstacle.
And the obstacle is in California, Nevada, Hawaii district, there's only 9,200 of us, right? As in Kiwanians sponsoring those 40,000-ish SLP members. We got to do better than that. They need it. They deserve it, right? They deserve the best that we can give. So we've got to work harder on bringing more people into the fold so that we can fully support our service leadership programs.
That's so, having been a lieutenant governor twice, having sat close to a few governors, of course, especially Governor Val this past year, I look at every governor's goals for the upcoming year, and how do we get at, it's hard not to have the same goals every year for each governor, add a club, increase SLP. We need, like you said, we basically need to at least double our Kiwanis membership. It's hard when you have some towns that don't have the ability to add that kind of number from a Kiwanis side. How do we overcome you governors and any governor that's out there, or international president or anybody? How do we get past having the same goals when we're struggling to achieve them every year? How do we freshen up the governor's lists of goals to accomplish everything we still want to? Increase SLP, increase Kiwanis membership, build new clubs. I don't know. It just seems like we're all stuck on that wheel, right? Or is it just me, the gerbil wheel? We're all on it. How do we get off of it and move on to something else?
Well, honestly, I think the reason the goals are so similar is because that's what the organization needs. How we go about it, though, that's what can change. Governor Val did a great job on membership, even though the numbers don't exactly show that. She did a great job. She and her team did amazing work. And unfortunately, people don't see that, but I'm saying it. You did amazing work. And I hope that I can do amazing work as well. I think we need to work on making ourselves as Kiwanians, as clubs, even as a district, more relevant, right? More inclusive, more diverse, more attractive, because we need to have, people say we need younger people, right? No, we need people of all ages, all shapes, color, sizes, and to have those people feel welcome at our table. We need to be more relevant to them. We need to be more aware of what's going on in our communities and the world around us right now. And that's the only way we're going to get past it.
If I may, before we go to break, I'm going to create a cheap little plug, if I may. In order to do what you just talked about, Carol, every Kiwanis club, not only here in Calneva, but around the world, has an opportunity to have their very own Kiwanis commercial created specifically for them, for their club, however they want to. Like the Rose Float is going to be putting one together. We've had 3 or 4, 5 different clubs this past year take advantage of that. Get your message out. Clubs need to start thinking outside the traditional box of getting out to the community. What better way? If you look at branding, we did a show months ago about branding, Kiwanis commercial that you can use on your websites, you can use on social media, send it into your PBS stations. That'll be one tool that they can use to accomplish everything you just talked about. All right, with that, it's time to step aside for break number 1 of the show. You are watching Kiwanis Connects. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll be back with more right after this.
Aloha. I am so glad to be able to invite you to Kiwanis Connects on WWDBTV because we have some fascinating shows going on. And so join us on Fridays at 9 a.m. And if you can't join us then, look at all the different links of where you can find us to see the different amazing shows that I do with Aaron and all the crew at WWDBTV.com.
Thank you, Governor Val, for that great message. Good morning, everybody. I'm Aaron Phillips, co-host of Kiwanis Connects with Governor Val, and this message is for all of you great lieutenant governors here in the Calneva District. As a reminder, we created a Kiwanis commercial that is dedicated to the clubs here in the Calneva District. You've seen it talked about, you've seen it on the show, and on the heels of a recent episode where we talked about branding, a commercial we think is a pretty good tool for you all to have. Now, I want to remind everybody, and there are 2 options that you can take advantage of. Number 1, you could take the existing commercial and simply brand it with your club's information at the end of the message. That's $75 to make that edit. Real simple, and contributions do go to Governor Val Direct to maintain the popular Kiwanis Connect show. Now, if you'd like something a little more detailed and customized with your club specific and pictures and everything that's going on, well, we can do that too. There's 3 options there. For a 30-second commercial, it's $200. 60-second commercial is $250. And if you'd like 90 seconds to deliver the message, that's only $300. All the work is done here at Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Studios with your support. And reach out to me and I can give you all that information. Email me at KiwanisConnectsInfo@gmail.com. That's KiwanisConnectsInfo@gmail.com. Thank you, Lieutenant Governors. We appreciate your time and effort. All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. Of course, when you watch and do shows live, you realize how things need to be edited and fixed for the next time. So we're going to clean up and dress up that other commercial that you just saw. Leanne, to the best of my ability, obviously I'm not sure if you can hear us. She's having some issues with freezing up. I don't know if anybody else is, but besides that, we're good to go. Hopefully, just refresh your computer. You may have to log out, log back in. All right. We have the current governor, Carol, with us. And of course, we have Doc Val. I got to get used to saying that now. My goodness. All right. Go ahead, Val. There was something you mentioned during the break that you wanted to come back on and continue.
Absolutely. Because I was, Governor Carroll really spurred on a thought for me. And it's a battle that has been going on in my head for quite a long time. And that is that we as Kiwanians need to modernize. If we don't modernize and if we don't approach how we fund our organization in a really respectful and thoughtful way, we're sunk. And that's because people don't understand why we have to take dues out of our pockets in the way that we do. And it's not about how much we pay in dues. It's the general principle. And I just went to a meeting this morning. And every person in that room, I was in a meeting at 6:30 this morning. For those of you who are looking at my coffee cup. And I will share with you, all 61 people in that room this morning spent over $50 per person. That was between the happy sads, the cost of breakfast, and the raffle tickets to win an exorbitant the 50-50 raffle. And so if they're willing to do that every single Friday, it's not about dues. And so I believe that we need to go to the model that every other organization does, which is that there's a minimal fee for what you do, as far as supporting our organization, and that the rest of it is something that can be paid as an aggregate. And it doesn't matter how that money gets into the account, but it's a bill. It's a one-time bill. And so that's where I'm coming from. And I think that more people will feel like they can be a part of this, because why should you pay twice? You pay with your time, and you also pay out of your pocket to do amazing things. Yeah. Doesn't
Yeah,
always make sense.
I think that's all great points. And Kiwanis, I think, is as much a reflection on what's happening in business in the world today as well. You know, where John and I were talking about it before we went on the air, that on Saturdays, one of our guys brings in donuts, and he used to get, what was it, the apple fritter?
Yeah.
So he got, and if you know Krispy Kreme donuts, apple fritters are pretty darn big. However, now they're about the size of a regular donut, but the cost went up. So we're going through, even though we're not a business, but we're going through the same things that are reflecting what's going on in the economy. Like you just talked about, you know, $50 a person taken out of their pocket for all the participation. It's not uncommon, unfortunately. So how do we fix it? We know membership is the easy answer to that, but how does every club succeed in increasing their membership and thinking outside the box, doing some new things? You know, even those are all the same rhetorical answers that everybody puts out there. So, Carol, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, it's an interesting question that we all face, both on a high level down to the field in the clubs.
Well, I agree with you. We need to prioritize how we spend our money. And I'm not telling anybody how to spend our money. I'm guilty, right? I mean, service has become less of a priority, and it needs to become the priority. And if it doesn't become the priority, honestly, why are we here? Especially for Kiwanians. I mean, the thing I love to do is get out and live Kiwanis, and there's nothing better than to live Kiwanis with other Kiwanians who are living Kiwanis, right? But there's fewer and fewer of us because the priority is not there. And I think we need to identify ways to turn that ship around and make it become the priority it needs to be.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, you know, everybody who has a priority invests in that priority. Doesn't matter what it is, even if it's being a Swiftie. And you think about how much it costs to go to a Taylor Swift concert or a Beyonce concert. And I have one neighbor that she goes to concerts every single month. And sometimes she can't find them in California, but she's still going to go. But when I
know
said
someone like that.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just like, if you make it a priority, like you said, and service is what Kiwanis is all about. Absolutely. And so beyond, when you look at our service leadership programs, what else, what other service kind of things do you want to highlight during your year? Or are you highlighting during your year?
Well, you know, the point that I always try to drive home, mixed metaphors are bad for me. I always try to make people aware that, and I've been guilty of it, that there are service opportunities everywhere. There are Kiwanis moments everywhere, but we're so busy. We have such tunnel vision at times that we don't see it. Let me give you a for instance. One day I came out of a grocery store and my head was just everywhere, right? It was probably the holiday season, trying to figure out where I'm going. And this young man, not any older than, I mean, probably 16, 17, he said, "Ma'am, do you have any money? I'm hungry." And my stock answer is no. You know, I'll go buy you something, whatever. But And I'm standing there and I'm like, I said, I don't have any money. And I looked over and there's a Jack in the Box right there. And in my head, I'm like, well, I could go buy him a hamburger. How hard could that be? And then I open my car, and I see 2 hot pizzas from a meeting that I just been at that I was going to take home. And he was already walking away. And I said, hey, would you like this pizza? He's like, really? And he walked off chewing on a piece of pizza. Again, those opportunities, and that was such a Kiwanis moment. Those opportunities are there. We have to stop with the tunnel vision. We have to be aware of what's around us, or we're going to miss it, right? I was able to, literally feed that child, but I almost missed the opportunity because I was all up in here. We need to stop being up in here and be out there.
I put a question in the chat room, and we're leaving it up for a little bit longer for those who are watching on YouTube, because of something that really highlights what you all are talking about right now. So and for those listening on the app, you can answer this when you land somewhere safely if you want to, or back on the replay. My question is, where does service rank in everybody's list of priorities? I mean, and I know you got family or God family, whatever it is. I know there's the standards, but service can kind of fall into all of those. But I'm just curious for people, if you were to rank it 1 through 10, where would service fall on everybody's list? Last night, you have to be aware of opportunities, Carol. And I have something last night. I picked up dinner on the way home. I picked up some ice cream for my wife and I was behind a lady in the ice cream shop. She got her cup all filled up with everything, tried to pay for it with her debit card on her phone. It didn't go through once and didn't go through twice. And the gentleman said, well, do you have another card you can use? Can you do this? And I'm standing there. I'm like, well, what can happen?
Right.
If she didn't pay for that, right? If she didn't pay for it, that ice cream was going to go out in the garbage anyway, because they couldn't do anything with it, and she would have walked out disappointed. I don't know what the issue is. I know for me, if I use a debit card and it comes up over limit, I know there's a problem. So I stepped up and I said, you know what? Just add it to my bill. I put my cups on the thing with hers. I just said, I'll be happy to pay for it. Happy holidays. But I said, the only thing I ask you to do, you must pay it forward to somebody else in need. That's the only thing I ask for. And so you create the opportunity. John has a comment, our producer here.
Yeah, I just want to respond to your question, where does service rank in your list of priorities? And I don't care what your priorities are in life. If service is the number one priority, you are going to fulfill all the other priorities just by that service. Whether it's your church or your family or whatever it is, by providing that service, especially to someone that you don't know, or not expecting anything in return, and not telling everybody, hey, I gave $10. It's just do it, shut up, and move on. So, but I'm not picking on the pizza story, which is beautiful, and that's an example of what we need to be doing. So in this instance, that was right on. So.
Right on.
I really laugh at that, John. And the reason I laugh is because people say I post too much, and they're saying you're always putting out there all the things that you do. And I was once given some great advice by Marissa, the lieutenant governor out in Las Vegas. She said, if you don't post each day, people are going to think you're dead. And so there are moments, it's like I post something, but I'm not telling you the whole story of my day or my life, because I live what you're talking about. Like Carol says, I live Kiwanis, and I have a bracelet that I count through the gifts that I have, and the reason why they're for the grace of God go I. And that was something my great uncle taught me, to always remember that when you're helping other people, that could come back tenfold, because you never know when your debit card's not going to work. You never know when your refrigerator might be empty, or that the car ran out of gas and you only had $5, and now $5 doesn't get you enough gas to get home. You never know.
It's like anything. We always talk about opportunities, right? Your eyes should always be open for opportunities, because you really don't know what the sign's going to be for that opportunity that's going to be knocking on that door, right? So Carol, I love what you said about we need to get out of here. And I'm one that's tough personally. It's tough to get out of my own head with everything I've got going on. And I know everybody can say the same thing, but one thing timeshare, when I sold timeshare, that it taught me, and I use it today to keep my health in check. I am more aware of my surroundings. I've increased my awareness of just stuff, and I think if we can come up with some way to do that in everyday lives, it's like I say at the end of the show, my closing line, I won't spoil it here. I'll say it at the end. That's what we're here for. We're here to pick everybody up. And I'm sure it's happening a lot around the world. The problem is the good stuff, like the fireman saving the cat in a tree. There's a reason it's the last 2 minutes at the end of a newscast. Nobody wants to hear good news. They all want to know about the bloodshed, the conversation. Right. And so what the millions and billions of people do, whether you're wearing a K or a lion or a rotary or just doing it naturally in your life, it doesn't get picked up in the news cycle because the other stuff is what sells, And the things that we do as Kiwanians, living Kiwanis, living the K, it just doesn't get picked up because we do it naturally, but the general public doesn't care. They want to hear about the blood and the guts and everything else and the distress of people because it makes people feel better about their own life when they read about X, Y, or Z. Perfect example. Listen, our friend Grace out in South Africa, God bless her. I thought it was a great show. We raised money on this show. We did everything. And she's still trying to figure out a way to move on. But her story probably made somebody else feel better about their own lives, seeing somebody else who is in distress because they can't do anything to help their own life. I think that's unfortunate where society is today in a lot of ways. I'll get off my soapbox now. Sorry.
I'm going to add to your soapbox because I got to share. I can't watch the international news anymore because of how tough it is out in the world. But I will give a shout out to my favorite newscaster, Dan Green, who for the past 26, 7 years has been doing something at the very end. It's called Animal Stories. And it's all positive. And I wait all the way through the news for Animal Stories. So Dan Green, bless you for making at least the Monterey Peninsula news better, because those train wrecks make me feel overloaded. I have exhaustion, and I think it's called empathy exhaustion, because there's so much going on, and people don't know where to start. And I think adding to your soapbox is Kiwanis gives you a place to start in your own community, and so turn off the train wrecks and turn on your time and use that hour, 2 hours that you spend watching the news, doing something good in your community.
I watch in the morning ESPN. And when I get in my car, I have XM Sirius Radio. I listen to the comedy channels. You know why? Because these devices that we all have and share, which we all lovingly call our umbilical cords, I get enough notifications throughout the day, unfortunately, through some of the different links I'm on, to give me all the garbage of what's happening in the world that, like you said, Val, I kind of want to do this with. I watch it in the morning. If I go to my local news channel, I'm on it for about 60 seconds. All I want to do is watch the crawl on the bottom of the screen one time because it gives me all the news that's happening locally and then some. So it's hard. Social media has been a great thing in a lot of ways, but it's also been a very detrimental thing in a lot of ways as well. How people choose to balance in their life and make the best of what's around them with the information that's out there. God, we can only hope people end up doing the things that's best in the world, I guess.
Absolutely. Governor Carroll is such a living example of what's best in the world. It makes me just go, Carol, most people don't know what you were doing as part of your professional world. Can you share?
So in June, I stepped down from what was my ideal job. I managed a soup kitchen where I got to make a real tangible difference in people's worlds every day by feeding them, by talking to them, by being kind to them, by just hanging out with a group of people that society would often choose to ignore. Fast friendships, strong friendships. I still see them out in town. They still miss me, but it was the right thing to do at the right time. Somebody wise, after the fact said, when you're in a position like that, you never want to leave when you're been worn down. You want to leave when you're still in the good space, so you remember the difference you made and how happy you were making it. And it had stopped becoming that and becoming more like political. And so I left when I was still feeling good about what I was doing. And I know that it's still going on a little bit different, and that's okay, because it can't all be, the same way. But the ability to make that difference, even in a small way, feeding 140 people every day, it was beyond imagination. Thanks for asking.
Well, it's just part of your glow, and it's part of, I think, what makes you the perfect person for what you're doing at this point in time. And it makes me feel, all giddy. And it's the same as, like, I'm looking at your purple hair, and so you've got purple and teal going on up there, girlfriend, this time, and it's like I'm just like, you are so authentically you. And so I'm so glad
I have
you decided to be
I
here.
have to be. Everybody else is taken, so I've got to be me, right?
Absolutely.
That's a great point. Your lieutenant governors, you provided them, your governor goals, and I know they're going to support it. But talking about prioritizing, if you were to just prioritize your list, and maybe that's the way you have it written on your goals on what you sent us. How have you addressed your lieutenant governors to provide maybe a timeline, sort of how you'd like them to see these things accomplished, the tools and resources to get these things done?
So we have a dynamic new membership chair who's going to help them with all of their questions about membership. And John Crawford is, his skills at opening new clubs, they can't be ignored. So he's part of that as well. I like to think I put the right people in the right place at the right time to give the lieutenant governors what they need. I've also made it clear that I'm here for them. I'm approachable. I get texts a lot, sometimes very late at night, but I never sleep. Sleep is for other people.
Not if you're on a farm with all those cows and roosters.
Right. But it's just my priority, and I have made it clear from the very beginning, because a past governor told me, if you're going to be about the students, be about the students. Don't hide it. And my priority has always been about what's doing best for them. Because if we're doing right by our students, we're always doing right for the district. And I think Governor Val can agree with that. But in order to do that, membership has got to be a priority as well. Otherwise, we're not supporting them. So, as well as we should or could. But obviously, making sure that we're connected to them. My first family focus is the mental health of our young people, because I get so tired of hearing the words "kids are resilient." Guess what? They're not. COVID proved that, and we need to help them. I mean, they're now owning it. There's less of a stigma. They can actually voice, "Hey, I have a problem." We need to encourage that and keep it going. So my priority is the students, but here's me. I'm never going to be the one to tell the lieutenant governors I serve with, and it's a privilege to serve with them, what to do. I'm going to give them some goals, and I'm going to let them be the leaders that I know all of them are to get those goals. And if their goals are a little different from mine, guess what? That's okay. That's okay. And they know that's okay. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
What we'll do, Val, if it's okay, let's step aside for a break a few minutes early, because we still have a lot to talk about with Carol. Want to have you catch up with everybody about what you've got going on, what projects and things that you're working on. And then, of course, bad dad jokes will close us out with a highlight, a Stephen Wright philosophy line.
Maybe we'll run out of time.
With that, we'll We'll be right back. International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year.
For more information, contact Herman Platsky at KiwanisClub of 29Palms.com.
International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year. For more information, visit www.kiwanis.org.
Your turn.
All right, welcome. John always gives me you see, coming at a break, he does it to me. My gosh. Welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. I'm Aaron Phillips, just holding down the fort here in Vegas. Of course, Doc Val is up there with our very special guest, her first visit with us of her term. Governor Carol Farris is here. I hope everybody's, listen, the comments and questions, I'm looking at views between YouTube and here and everything else. People have their eyes on you, Miss Carol. Not just us. It's an international studio, Carol. Don't be nervous. It's just the three of us on screen, John. It's just the four of us. You know, no big deal. So, anyway, all right, Val, take it away. I'm going to throw it back to you.
Well, you know, I was looking at some of the things that are happening around our district, and it's really exciting to see that in most years, people don't really start to get moving until January. But I have been looking at what a number of clubs have been doing this year, and it's really exciting to see, like Leanne Westfall with Shasta Dam. They're feeding over 700 people. And during the Thanksgiving holiday, I was looking at all the reports and all the things on Facebook. And feeding is something we seem to do really well, because it looks like we fed over 1 million people just in our district. You know, it's like in Monterey, they fed 4,100 people on Thanksgiving Day. I think down in Hanford, you guys did a really amazing job as well. Isn't it's like, doesn't that just excite you?
It does, for sure, me, because it means that people are watching, people are seeing, and people know there's a need, and they want to help. I think it's up to us to show them the avenues they can do so. It's not just about money. It's about time. It's about hands. It's about anything you can think of that needs to be done.
And, you know, I was looking at your one of your goals is for us to have more builders clubs. And I think that Builders Club is the most amazing age group, because they're 5th and 6th graders. They think that they're little adults, and they act better and are kinder than most adults have ever met. And I was watching Lester Holt's, what's it called? His nightly news for kids. And it was a Builders Club. They called it the Kiwanis K Kids, and the Builders Club members that served 900 people for Thanksgiving. It was their idea. They did all the fundraising, and they had their parents cook. Thankful. It's our kids. And if we can live by example with our kids, I think that that's cool. And so can you tell me a little bit more? Because I didn't read all the way through. So with your goal with the Builders Club, what's your vision with them?
Well, obviously, the previous international president, his goal was more K kids. And it's basically to continue, because, once you're in that Kiwanis family, once you're in the K family, you stay in that K family. The K number you get at the beginning is the K number you have at the end. So I think if we work more on building those relationships and building that transition all the way through, the whole family will be stronger. And I encourage my people, my lieutenant governors, the clubs, everybody to always include your SLPs when you are doing service. Whether it's Action Club, which is for adults with disabilities, or K Kids, which are our youngest. Make sure they're included because they have ideas, they have energy, and they have love, and they have hands to serve. And we need that, right? And we can learn from them. I've learned so much from our students, no matter the age.
It's this time of year. Okay. We're talking about feeding the hungry and I love it. There are 365 days a year, I guess, with a leap year, 364 without it, but there's over 360 days a year. Why can't we focus on this kind of stuff each and every day? It just seems like this time of year, we're doing the food drives. We're helping those in need, homeless and everything in like the 6-week period from Thanksgiving to New Year's. And then after New Year's, we just kind of stay, right? Why can't
the Kiwanis clubs don't do that? Actually, out in the outer world, people focus in from that November to January. But Kiwanis is all year long. We are feeding people all year long.
Right.
And that's the part that I think is so important. People want to help, not just now. They want to help, and Kiwanis is the best way to do that. Carol, I jumped all in on that one. Sorry.
Well, no, that's okay. But you're absolutely correct. Whenever I would speak about the soup kitchen, because I speak a lot, go figure. I always say hunger is not just a seasonal issue. It's not just, between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I say hunger is 365 days a year. It needs help every day. People need to eat every day. If they only ate on Thanksgiving and Christmas, we wouldn't have a lot of people around. So, but it is something we need to drive home. I think people are aware. I mean, they eat in their homes every day. I think people are aware, but they just don't push it forward. And I think we need to really give them the avenue.
And that's where I want to kind of marriage, and you guys perfectly fell into my plan because I know. Listen, people think I don't know what I'm doing, but I really do know what I'm doing up here. No, but seriously, Val, you led right into the fact that Kiwanis does every day the things that we need to do to support our communities. And Carol, you fell into the other side where you remind people of that. So the people who are out there that don't think about it 365 days out of the year, but want to, that's who we need to have join Kiwanis, because we can give them the avenue 365 days a year to support those in need, whether it's food, whether it's clothes, whether it's just, hey, how you doing? Whatever it is, Kiwanis provides that 365 days out of the year so that we can think about it every day of the year. Bravo, ladies. You fell right into my trap. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I have to remember that.
Hey, there's a game plan up here. Hey, take it. No, it's fine. Anyway, so yeah, it is important that we have to keep service in the forefront of our mind. And as Kiwanians, we automatically do that. It's the other 230 billion people, whatever our planet population is, minus all of us K family members. Those are the folks that we have to hone in on. The question is a lot of times, how do we do that? How do we net them? And so I know, Carol, in your list, you talk about inviting people to these projects, inviting people to the soup kitchen, inviting people when first of all, Lester Holt, I remember when he was just a local news anchor on NBC when I lived back east all those years ago. The fact that he's now on a national stage is a great thing, and bringing K family and K builders clubs to the forefront. But these are the things that we need to spotlight every day. And I'm so thankful we have this platform to make it happen. But people really do need to think about every day. Just because New Year's comes January 1st, that doesn't mean that 364 days left of the year people are not in need. And that's why Kiwanis helps those who want to do it, that can't figure out a way to do it. We're there to help them do it. Like Nike says, what? Just
do it.
Bring them. If you bring a non-member, I guarantee if every club took bring 10 potential members to a service project. If you don't at least get 1 or 2 of them out of every 10, then I have to say this with all due respect, shame on you if you can't get 2 out of 10 to at least come to the next meeting and start that trend.
Well, it's 100% true, because people don't join a service club to have lunch, right? They don't pay dues just to have lunch. You're more apt to get people connected and get people engaged and get people excited about what you're doing if you invite them to a service project. Very rarely does membership actually come from those lunch meetings. It comes from doing, right? So.
Absolutely. All right. We are down to, if I'm looking at the show clock, we're about 8 minutes. So I give John a minute at the end so that if we run this show down the line, he could probably fit it into the schedule. So I'm going to change gears a little bit. I'm going to ask John not to play the regular show intro or segment intro that we have done, because Val is really no longer on the road. I have an idea as to how we're going to update that moving forward. However, with that, Val, you want to talk about some projects that you've got going on? I screwed John up for a change.
I love the Barbie car, but the Barbie car is broken.
I promise, but it'll have a whole different feel to it.
Absolutely, because the Barbie car is broken, and the Valmobile. I want to share with everybody. I did 81,000 miles on the road in my governor year. And that was because there are so many places and so many people that said they had never seen a governor before. So that obviously means the district doesn't care. And I was like, let's solve that. And so that just wanted you to know that Carol has been putting miles on her car like crazy as well. And so she is so committed to this on the road as well. And so, Carol, once in a while, can you check back in with us and let us know where you're going and how we can support you?
Invite me anytime.
Maybe once a month, either the beginning of the month or the end. Maybe we do a Carol segment where she comes on. We'll create a whole intro for Carol being on the road where she gives us a report. How does that sound?
That sounds awesome.
Excellent.
I'd love to.
We'll put
very cool.
And I'm glad you talked about that, Val, because my Stephen Wright line of philosophy falls right in line about travel. So you've done it twice. You fall right in line with what I'm setting up around there.
All right.
All right. We have about 5 minutes left. So let's get some final thoughts from Carol before. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to talk about my project. And
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to give, this is kicking off of where I'm headed as the immediate past governor. Not immediately paroled governor. And I know for a lot of you, you've watched a lot of our segments on Maui Strong and the Lahaina Project. And I'm part of that Lahaina Maui recovery process. And right now we are actually working on a major project because there are about 1,000 KK in Lahaina that need a really good Christmas. And so the local Kiwanis clubs are giving a toy, a wrapped gift, and something else to the kiddos. And so what I'm organizing is a stocking for every kiddo that has some basic need things in it, but also some fun things. And so in honor of Carol, because she's going to remember this, this is one of the 1,000 stockings that we've put together. And so we'll post on the Kiwanis Connects pages and things where you can send items. And so for as little as $25, you can order on Amazon 150 items that can go into stockings. And so we've gotten a lot of sponsors on the physical stockings, but we need to put some things in there, including a pair of socks. In those stockings. So I know most of us go socks, but the reality is socks and fun toys and stuff. So join me this month in stuffing the stockings, and we'll make it happen. And so the stockings will be given out on the 17th of December in Lahaina. And so we'll be stuffing all the stockings the 13th and 14th of December. So make sure your stuff gets there, and that mail all your stuff to the Maui Beach Hotel. And you can look that up online, Maui Beach Hotel. So that's my project for the month of December.
Right on. I want to go back to that one. We have a certain 8-year-old superhero, Val,
Oh, yeah.
that we all know. His name is Justin, of course, and he just came back from a successful project in South Africa. And I brought up that perhaps his next project should be helping to build one of his libraries out there in Lahaina for the children out there. So perhaps that's something now, especially since the momager of said Justin is the president of the new downtown Kiwanis Club. That might be something we can get them to work on. But I think that's great support for them out there. Carol, we have about a minute and a half for you that I want you to give us some final thoughts, wrap up your visit with us with a message that you want to send out not only to the district, but maybe Kiwanis as a whole.
To the world. Final thoughts. Wow. I just appreciate all of the work that Kiwanis does throughout the world. I know we have some challenges ahead, but we are not going to back down from them. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep serving. We're going to keep making a difference everywhere we go. And we're going to help each other. And one thing I would, I don't know about you, Governor Val, but I get really tired of the words, we can't do that. That's a Lions thing. We can't do that. That's a Rotary thing. We need to get out of that mindset and just work together and do things because it's a service thing, that it's needed, because, more hands will make things happen. So I would love to see a more working relationship with all of us and stop with the segregation of what club does what. We need to work more together and get it all done because we all need that. And I encourage you all to do that. And I hope everybody has a fabulous, fabulous holiday season. And looking forward to the new year. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Well said. By the way, Carol, when we sign off, don't disappear off of this link. Okay. So guys, just stay there after we're done with the show. All right. Well said. And it's been great having you here having your first visit with us. And I look forward to setting up monthly segments. As a matter of fact, our good friend Chief is in the chat room, one of my co-hosts on ThoughtsCon Anywhere, a big supporter and also a former Key Clubber. He said the new segment with Carol should be called Carol Zooming Around. Not bad. We'll give it some thought. That's from Chief. And if I don't use that one, Chief will get me on Saturdays. So we may have to put that in contention. Couple of housekeeping things for all of you watching. You guys know Kiwanis Connects has a Facebook page. Many of you kind of watch the show through that page. First of all, how many members of Calneva do we have? Did you say, governors?
The 9,200-ish. 9,300.
I like that better. So on our Kiwanis Connects Facebook page, why do we have less than 1,000 people that like this page? So my challenge to everybody out there, 9,200 Kiwanians around Calneva, and we have less than 1,000 fans. Everybody that is currently a fan and has liked the page, please go to the page, hit that little button that says invite. If you can't find it, click the 3 dots that will say more. You'll see something that says invite friends. Please grow this page, because I want clubs out there when they're taking pictures of K-Kids serving 900 meals or 200 at a soup kitchen, post them to the page. This show is about you, and we want to grab them and post them and share them on the show. So please invite friends. I don't care if they're Kiwanians or not. If they're non-Kiwanians, even better. Get them to like the page, to see what Kiwanis is about, and join us every time that we have something going on. So please invite and put comments and pictures about what you have going on. All right. So here you go, Val and Governor Carroll, your first infusion of bad dad jokes live. Although you may have. So, all right. First, here's the Stephen Wright philosophy that falls right in line with what you all were talking about. Quote, Stephen Wright, "My mechanic told me I couldn't repair your brakes, so I made your horn louder." Good, Val. Let it out, Val. Come on, it's okay. We know.
I've met those people. I've met those people.
You fell right in line with that one. That was very good. Okay. What did the grapes say to the wine after they broke up?
I'm crushed.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah. We ruined it for you.
What kind of award do you give Dentist of the Year?
A crowning award?
Oh, not bad. But no, you give them a little plaque.
Oh,
Ew.
Last but not least, maybe a service project should be save these bad dad jokes. Don't do it. Last one, and we say goodbye. Why did the nurse keep a red pen handy? In case she had to draw blood.
Oh.
With that, I encourage you and hope you'll come back and watch next week in spite of those bad jokes. Anyway, Val, as always, love you. Thank you for everything you've done. Carol, anything you need, please help us use the platform, reach out to whatever we can do. You know, we're behind you. Thank you for visiting us. Enjoy the holiday season. With that, everybody, you know what? Be kind to everybody. Why? We're all we got. See you next time right here on Kiwanis Connects. Thank you for watching.